Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. I was about to say my name wrong. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In today's episode, we are going to discuss Tezlyn Figaro. She is, I believe, a correspondent on Revolt TV, or maybe she just, was doing this interview. But anyway, she hosted a pre-show during the debates last week, and it got pretty heated. Tezlyn, to me, she came off very cocky and very disrespectful to her viewers and her guests. As a moderator, you think she would not have acted in a way or in such a manner where it completely turned off the guests. But anyway, we'll discuss that. We'll take a look at what was said during this show, and we'll further talk about it. Anywho, we're going to discuss that, and also we're going to talk about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris actually gave an interview to the NABJ Association, which is the National Association of Black Journalists, and you could tell the stark treatment, how they treated Donald Trump when he showed up versus how they treated Kamala Harris. Okay, so and then what was weird about this whole interview, Kamala Harris asked similar questions. I guess they asked her similar questions from before, what she's planning to do with the economy, blah, blah, blah. Questions that you will ask the president. Kamala Harris regurgitated the same answer that she's been given for the last 3 weeks. Verbatim. And if you can't go off script as a person that's running for office, I really question your ability to handle things that might come up, like stuff that you're not expecting to come up. How would you handle things that is not planned? So anyway, we'll take a look at that, some parts of the interview. And someone posted a video of the comparison, how they treated Donald Trump versus how they treated Kamala Harris. So we'll look at both of those comparisons. Okay, so you guys make sure you stay tuned. In this, we're going to talk about it. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. You guys put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. Please put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Mia in the house. Mia is viewing from Rochester, New York. Please put in the chat, let me know where you're viewing from. You guys got to forgive me. I'm running off of little sleep, so that's probably why I'm everywhere. I'm running off of little to no sleep. Last night I had to stay up doing some edits on one of my videos, and I should have waited to post it this morning, but I still posted it last night. But anyway, I'm here. And then I had the show this morning, on my other channel, Chawanne Burns 2.0. I have started a new podcast, and that's called Unpopular Opinion. We had a show this morning, and I believe we had a good time. So you guys, do me a solid if you could go over to that channel and make sure you subscribe. And if you're up in the morning around 9 o'clock, let me just pull it up. If you're up in the morning around 9 o'clock in the morning, you could do me a solid and tune in. We stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays between 9 and 10 p.m. So that's Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays between 9 and 10 p.m. Here is that channel. So it's Chawanne Burns 2.0. And the podcast is called Unpopular Opinion. Okay, so let's get to our main subject of the hour. And that is, one of the main subjects of the hour. That is Kamala Harris. Now, Kamala Harris, she gave an interview with the NABJ conference. And, on one part of the interview, I'm just going to play a snippet of it. On one part of the interview, she talks about the economy. And this is her.
Voters are better off now than they were 4 years ago. Are they better off now than they were 4 years ago?
So when we came into, well, first of all, let me just say, it is good to be with the National Association of Black Journalists, and I thank you for the work you do and that your members do every day. It is very important that we ensure that this organization and your members always have the resources and the platforms to deliver the voices that must be heard. So I thank you for hosting me today. 4 years ago, when we came in during the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. We came in during the worst public health epidemic in centuries. We came in after the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. And a lot of it due in large part to the mismanagement by the former president.
I wish they would stop saying this is the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. No, you forget 9/11. You're forgetting, you could even say just the act, the bombing. Remember the Oklahoma bombing where they bombed that building. They hardly ever talk about that. So, you're saying the worst attack on our democracy, but we have had terrorist threats on our land. So that talking point and them regurgitating that talking point is like, do you even know what democracy is? Do you know what the Constitution Republic is? And I don't think they know what that means. But anyway, I digress. I'll just let her keep on talking.
As it relates to COVID. And obviously January 6th. And we had then a lot of work to do to clean up a mess. As of today, we have created over 16 million new jobs, over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. We have the lowest Black unemployment rate in generations. We have invested in small businesses, and they're to the benefit of many people, but including Black small businesses, some of the highest rate of creation of new Black small businesses in years. We have done the work of capping the cost of prescription medication for our seniors for issues like insulin. And again, I'm speaking to the Black journalists who care about all people, but in particular, I'll talk about the impact on Black people, where we know Black folks are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes. And we have now finally capped the cost of insulin for our seniors at $35 a month, capped the cost of prescription medication for our seniors at $2,000 a year, because we, unlike the former president who promised to do it, we finally have allowed Medicare to negotiate drug prices against the big pharmaceutical companies.
Well, that's another falsehood that she touts. Donald Trump, he did cap the prescription of or the cost of the prescription or insulin, but it was like a temporary thing until they get a permanent fix. And of course, he left office and they essentially took the credit. Okay. Anyway. Okay, Kamala.
And these are just some of the accomplishments. Is the price of groceries still too high? Yes. Do we have more work to do? Yes. And I will tell you, I do believe that I offer a new generation of leadership for our country that is about, in particular, turning the page on an era that sadly has shown us attempts by some to incite fear, to create division in our country, and to do.
Okay, so I don't know why they didn't show the complete video. Let me just see if Kamala Harris. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just trying to find the complete video. Um, is this it? No. My bad. I don't know where did I put this post at? Anyway, while I'm trying to find this,
And to insert into this election.
Or Congresswoman.
I'm gonna play this right quick.
Or Congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. Why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
For you to start off a question and answer period in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace.
Your opponent and Republicans have at times weaponized you laughing. Why is joy important to you to insert into this election?
There are some times when your adversaries will try and turn your strength into a weakness. Don't you let them.
Or Congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser.
That clip is kind of crazy. Does it sound like Kamala Harris is sick or something? Like, why is she sounding like that? Or maybe she's just exhausted because she's been burning the candles from each end, because she is, I guess, on the road a lot. This is what I was trying to find, you guys. I wasn't, let me share this tab.
Kamala Harris.
Okay, so notice, hardly nobody clapped. Nobody was excited to see her, or maybe they didn't have a lot of people there. When Donald Trump attended, number one, Donald Trump attended, and he attended during this conference, and it was I believe it was in Chicago, correct? You guys correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe it was Atlanta. I forget. But anyway, it was during that conference.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Madam Vice President, thank you so much for doing this and making the time.
Of course.
Just a little bit busy right now. We want to start on an issue that Americans across the country say is their number one concern, and that's the economy. Mm-hmm. A question that has been asked of you and everybody that's on the Democratic side is whether or not voters are better off now than they were 4 years ago. Are they better off now than they were 4 years ago?
So when we came into, well, first of all, let me just say, it finally capped the cost of insulin for our seniors at $35 a month, capped the cost of prescription medication for our seniors at $2,000 a year, because we, unlike the former president who promised to do it, we finally have allowed Medicare to negotiate drug prices against the big pharmaceutical companies. And these are just some of the accomplishments. Is the price of groceries still too high? Yes. Do we have more work to do? Yes. And I will tell you, I do believe that I offer a new generation of leadership for our country that is about, in particular, turning the page on an era that sadly has shown us attempts by some to incite fear, to create division in our country, and to do the work that is about bringing some level of optimism and, dare I say, ambition about what I know is possible in our country. And so my plan for the economy includes what I imagine and believe and call an opportunity economy. What we can do to grow an opportunity economy where all people have access to the resources to compete, to apply their incredible work ethic, their ambition, their aspirations, and their dreams, and actually not just get by, but get ahead. And I can talk in more detail about it, but specifically, I'll mention a few things.
Yeah.
One of the big issues that affects people right now in terms of the economy and their economic well-being is we have a shortage of housing supply. It's too expensive. People can't afford to buy a home. You know, we grew up, our parents, where they had the ability to somehow believe the American dream was attainable. Not so much for younger working people. And I recognize that. So my approach is a new approach, which is to say, let's just take this and deal with it head on.
One thing I want to point out, and you guys maybe, I'm the only one that's seeing this. She is not, her messaging is not clear. She says opportunity economy, and then when you go to her webpage, it's a new way forward. And you want to bring love or joy back to the White House. I'm not for sure where you're going with that. Another thing, I mean, you know, people give me shit about giving Kamala shit because it's like, you're saying, okay, housing is not affordable. That is absolutely correct. Housing is not affordable. People can't afford to buy homes. Prior to Donald Trump coming in, people couldn't afford to buy homes. And it's not because, you know, they didn't want to buy homes. It's because of rent. Rent is stopping you from saving money. So, I mean, you have a gamut of issues that I believe was caused by the government. So you allow people to come in, and I'm talking about illegals, and you give them money to pay top premium rent. So that leads the mom and pop, hey, I could get top premium rent off of this, you know, my 2-bedroom apartment. Instead of charging $900, I could charge people $1,300 because we have a mass influx of migrants coming in and the government is paying their rent. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the people that's actually working that's not qualified to get under that low economic or income-based standard, they make too much, but they don't make just enough. So they're in a rock called a hard place. And so they're scrambling, trying to pay rent. They have to rob Peter to pay Paul. My sister moved to Michigan. This is just a story. My sister moved to Michigan. When was this? It was right after the pandemic. It might have been 2021. And she stayed with us for about 6 or 7 months, and she ended up getting an apartment not too far away from where we live. It's a nice neighborhood, but her original lease was $1,100 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. She is paying $1,500 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. And when I tell you it's a basic 2-bedroom apartment, it's not with the thrills and frills. No, like the 2-bedroom apartment is not one that you would say, oh, I got a really nice apartment. It's not one of those type of apartment buildings. It's just like the run-of-the-mill apartment building. It's not horrible, but it's not good. So when we're talking about opportunity economy, I mean, I think we need to be like really real with ourselves. What's causing these rents to go up? What's causing the inflation? And what is the fix for this? What will be the solution for rents to decrease? You guys let me know. Because if no one is willing to pay $1,500 because everybody can't afford it, then you won't have $1,500 rents. But if a migrant comes over and the government says, oh yeah, we're going to give you a stipend of $3,000 or $5,000 a month for you to live on, and you need to make 3 times as much for your rent, that means I could afford $1,000 rent or $1,500 rent. You guys let me know, put it in the chat. So they're causing the very same problem that they're saying, oh, we're going to fix it. And you're in office.
And part of my approach is to say, I'm going to employ and engage the private sector, in particular home builders with tax credits, to give them the incentive to create new housing, 3 million by the end of my first term, and understanding that not everybody is, handed a silver spoon, but works hard and is trying to save up for a down payment. Part of my plan under my opportunity economy is to give first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance so they can just get their foot in the door to be able to then engage in what will prove to be their opportunity to build intergenerational wealth. And here's my personal experience coming at that. I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother was hardworking. She raised me and my sister Maya. She saved up. And it was only by the time I was a teenager that she could afford to actually buy her first home. And I know, and I identify with, I know where I come from.
Madam Vice President.
And I know, but I'm just going to finish. I know that so many people work so hard and should have the opportunity to just get their foot in the door.
Yeah, and you said this on the debate stage. You said this when you was interviewing with Fox. You only had 3 or 4 interviews, and you say the same damn thing all the time. I know I'm being hard on Kamala, but you guys, where is, thinking on the fly? Why does everything have to be scripted? This is why a lot of people don't trust Kamala Harris. She's speaking of, in Michigan, it's called the Brownfield tax credit, where they incentivize developers to develop in certain areas. And when you develop in certain areas, they give you this tax credit. But certain percentage of the housing must be dedicated towards low income housing. Okay, so, or subsidized housing, what they're calling it, and in Michigan it's called MISHDA. So you can't. It's basically rent control. You can't go over this amount. It might be a luxury apartment building, but if it's new develop, you can't go over a certain rent for, I think, 10 to 20 years. Okay, this is not new. They do it in every state. This is not a new thing. They do it in every state. They incentivize developers because we recognize we do have a housing shortage. Not only we have a housing shortage, okay, we have a shortage of affordable housing. Okay, you can't say, oh, we have all these housings available and you charging $2,000 to $3,000 for rent. What's the point? I'm not for sure. I probably need to do like an investigation to see, has BlackRock and gave any campaign donations to Kamala Harris. And the only reason why I'm going with that is, BlackRock, and I think it's another developer, they go around buying single family homes. This is a speculation why we have a housing shortage because of the single family home market. They're taken up or bought by larger corporations like BlackRock. And BlackRock holds on to those houses. They don't rent them out. They don't do nothing with them. They just hold on to the houses, let them sit vacant, and then, sell them off to make a profit. Or they rent them out and they have astronomical rent. So that's why some people, number one, can't afford housing to buy housing because you have BlackRock and other larger companies buying up single family homes. And then also we can't afford to rent because you have companies, larger companies, jacking up the rent because they're government subsidized. It's okay. We could take migrants in because you're going to pay me. It's a guaranteed paycheck. And then I won't have to deal with the fuss of, hey, trying to collect rent every month. I have a guaranteed paycheck. So anyway, you say the same thing all the time. I want to get to the part where
their income and childcare. Because I know, because that is what we do, but not everyone has the ability to take time from work to do it, and they need help. And we need to make sure we have home health care workers that can help them. But I want to also get back to the earlier point that you made about extending the child tax credit. So part of my new approach is we need to expand the child tax credit.
And she's calling it expanding, you just give them more money to new, if you have a new baby. I want to find a part where she started talking about black men. They asked her, do you think, it's a crazy question. Do you think black men, have to earn your vote or something years after pretending black men don't exist? Okay. Is this it? No. Okay. This is it. Kamala Harris just basically admitted, let me just show this, basically admitted black men view Donald Trump as a better candidate over her. She doesn't refute the claim, but admits she keeps getting confronted with the reality because people keep asking her about it.
It's very important to...
But polling...
and he's asking a polling question.
Polling shows that some black men, particularly young black men, are considering voting for Donald Trump, and they see him as better for the economy. What is your message to young black male voters who feel left out of this economy, and how can your economic policies materially change their lives?
So I appreciate the spirit of the question, but I'll tell you, I've often been asked this question in a way that I've had to respond by first saying that I think it's very important to not operate from the assumption that black men are in anybody's pocket. Black men are like any other voting group. You got to earn their vote. So I'm working to earn the vote, not assuming I'm going to have it because I am black, but because the policies and the perspectives I have understands what we must do to recognize the needs of all communities. And
But polling shows that some black men, particularly young,
history and try and teach our children up. Million new jobs, over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. We have the lowest black unemployment.
I wish they had a longer snippet. Anyway, I should have found that question. Let me see. Maybe this is it.
It's very important to not operate from the
Yeah, this is it.
black men are in anybody's pocket. Black men are like any other voting group. You gotta earn their vote. So I'm working to earn the vote. Not assuming I'm going to have it because I am black, but because the policies and the perspectives I have understands what we must do to recognize the needs of all communities. And I intend to be a president for all people. Specifically as it relates to what we need to do, to your point around economic opportunity. Yes, I started way before I was at the top of the ticket and what I called an economic opportunity tour focused on black men. Understanding that, for example, we have so many entrepreneurs in the community who do not have access to capital, but they've got great ideas, an incredible work ethic, the ambition, the aspiration, the dream, but don't have the relationships necessarily. So my work has included, as vice president, getting billions more dollars into community banks, including working with the big banks to do that, so that we can increase access to capital for our small businesses, for our startups. Part of my plan under my economic opportunity plan going forward is that right now, startup entrepreneurs, small businesses only get a tax deduction of $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. So I'm expanding that to $50,000. Understanding, again, that when people have the opportunity to have the resources to get started, they're going to put the good ideas, they're going to put the hard work into it. And part of what I also know is that our young black men, our black men, just like any group of people, anybody, our small businesses are really the backbone of our economy overall. And when they do better economically, we all do better. Part of my work is about understanding what we need to do in dealing with, for example, the historic inequities that have faced the black community around home ownership, right? I don't have to go through the history with anybody here about what that has meant in terms of redlining, what that has meant in terms of biases and home appraisals, and what the impact it has had on stemming the opportunity to build intergenerational wealth because of those.
That part, I guess she didn't do too bad on. She still didn't answer the question about, hey, what's your message to black men? I mean, what would be her message? I'm not for sure. And Outkast, yes, she did just admit that she was black. Dewana Barrick, she didn't grow up middle class. She grew up privileged. Her father and mother were academic professionals. Her mother is of the Brahmin class. And Kamala, she said, my mom scraped up and got her coins together to buy her first house. And she doesn't mention, like, in Canada, when she was living in Canada, they said she lived in the upper class community. So, maybe she scraped together to buy her upper class house, I guess. And then she even said that she worked at McDonald's, and coming to find out she's never worked at McDonald's. Like, she's trying to identify with the people, but she is not. She's not one of the people, okay? She's not a middle class person, Somebody must have told her, and I think I mentioned this yesterday, to take that necklace off because, that necklace that she always have has on. She let me just see if she has it on. No, it was a $60,000 Tiffany necklace. So I guess they told her to take it off. Okay, so we're going to go to our next topic. You guys put in the comments. Let me know what you think. We're going to talk about Tezlyn Figaro for just a minute. And Tezlyn, let me just go Tezlyn. Tezlyn, she hosted a debate party on Revolt TV. And it lasted for like 3 hours long. Of course, we're not going to talk the whole, get into all the talking points. But it's a few things that I want to point out. Okay. So let me see. Tezlyn, she has on her show Michaela Montgomery. There's another black activist there. I guess he's a mobilizer to get people out to vote, but he is a Republican. And then on the left-hand side, I think he's a representative. I believe he's a representative in Atlanta. I forget what the guy's name is. And also, they had another rapper that came on, and I'm assuming he's a Democrat. But anyway, it's okay for her to, host people on this platform to debate, but you're supposed to be the moderator, okay? And you claim that you're independent, and clearly you're not. It seems like she's just starting fights for, I guess, good for TV. I'm not for sure.
Say y'all against, it was white feminism that divided us, that said get on the white women's side, because the white women's side pushed white male supremacy.
Well, I was born in 1983, so I
well,
wasn't a part of that.
Well, I'm giving you the information. It was white women, just a little history. It was white women that divided up, saying women first, because what women first meant in white women's world meant white men first, not black men. We know that according to the history of the women's suffrage
judged people individually.
Oh yeah, well we're not talking about you, we're talking about systems. Okay. So unfortunately you're not the system, and what I'm saying, the system, when you say we should identify as a woman first, that actually divides the black family.
I didn't say we should. I was just saying, like, from the one white person in the room.
I know that you wanted to say that shouldn't we identify with the importance of identifying as a woman first and not color, and I'm letting you know why black women identify with color first, because when we identified with you as white women first, you left us in the back and our men too. I'm just answering the question. Yeah, well, your ancestors, your people. Yeah, okay. It's okay. I answered your question. Okay. Even like now, But anyway, let's move on to the next.
So are we coming back to abortion, or because I saw the call sheet? Are we coming back to it, or if we're coming back to it, we can.
But did I answer the question?
Yes.
I think so.
Relative to abortion, right? Our community has aborted 25 million children.
And how many white folks?
What white folks do don't set the standard in the black community.
I just want to make sure we get the facts.
Measuring our.
This is why she was the worst moderator. You attack the woman saying, hey, we shouldn't identify as women first. We should identify as being black first. That's what she told the white woman. And then on the other hand, this is a conservative. She attacks him. They were talking about abortion, by the way. She attacks him for saying, hey, okay, we aborted 25 million babies since abortion inception. That's a lot of babies. That's a whole lot of babies. So we have 50 million people, or it's about 49 or 46 million black individuals that's in the United States. Add 25 on that. That's 75 million. You will be the majority. Well, minority majority. You still, it's still 60% white folks.
We need to measure ourselves on our own performance.
No problem. I just wanted to know the white folks. That's all.
Fair enough. We've aborted 25 million children, and it's my opinion that the world is better with those children in it than not. Okay? Abortion is in many ways a very difficult topic for a lot of people to deal with, but what we're really not talking about is the root issue, which is premarital sex. Premarital sex is the most significant issue.
You against premarital sex?
So I am actually. I am actually, as of today.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I am as of today. So as of today, yeah. So dig, right? So no, wait, because we got a whole bunch of people in the crowd who gonna claim that they from the community, and I ain't perfect. So hold on,
you keep talking about you're from the community. We all from the community.
No,
You do that all the time.
Let me for the cameras.
Are you married?
For the
We just wanna make
cameras,
sure. Are you
for the
married?
cameras in the view, I can lay my resume. I can lay my family
No,
resume
just
on the
ask,
tape.
are you married?
I'm
They want to know. Just yes or no.
I'm running for you.
No, just a yes or no. Before you move forward, we want to set the
running for you. I'm a grown heterosexual black male.
Hold
on, no, stop. Who has benefited?
He won't answer.
For the cameras.
Somebody ask.
For the cameras. No, I'm gonna give you more than you asked for.
No, but I just want this one to answer. No, but I don't want one to ask for. I just want to know. Yes or no.
I'm a black male who benefited from the abortion program.
No, I didn't ask you that. I asked you what you did this last time.
At 18 years old, I benefited with another sister from abortion. But that don't mean that I don't know that it's wrong.
Right.
See, one of the issues we have in our community.
Relax, soldier. Relax.
The issue that we
Remember,
have
I'm
in our
the
community.
Hold on, tone it down. Relax.
Fair enough.
Come on, you foaming at the mouth. Relax, baby. Relax. You foaming at the relax. I need to know this because they want to know. They're asking.
So listen.
No.
I'm a divorcee with a fiance.
No.
I'm a divorcee with a fiance and children.
Let's
see what I'm saying?
Let's stop, because you the one threw it out there. So I just want to know yes or no before we move forward. Are you married? Yes or no?
I'm engaged.
So
I got a beautiful black female. I got a beautiful. I've been married, right? And I've also leveraged
I
the
just
abortion
asked you a
system.
simple question.
It has
Were you
no
married?
bearing on
Yes
the
or no?
point.
So bottom line, she ain't getting none tonight. So bottom line, she ain't getting. I just want to make sure. The people want to know. Ma'am, you ain't getting none tonight because he said as of tonight. No, we're not going to.
You are diverting from the real issue here. The real issue is people don't want to be accountable to the fact
we accountable, but ma'am, you ain't getting none tonight. That's damn shame because he look a nice looking man. And he said
abortion
you ain't.
is being used.
We got all
as a
that, but I know you ain't getting none tonight, ma'am. Make sure y'all stay tapped in. We got the real issue. We just want to know was you married? And he said he ain't getting none. 90 seconds. We gonna get back. I ain't gonna let you do.
Because the uncomfortable truth. The news media don't want you to hear the uncomfortable truth.
Raise your hand. We just want to know.
Don't. That's it. I've called it like it is. I've called it like it is.
Baby, we gonna talk about abortion. Relax. But I told you this last time.
We was gonna go back. You wanted me to jump in, so I ran in.
You got to lay out the premise of the argument.
So I'm trying to get there.
Since you said you don't believe in no, because I needed to know that before we got to the debate. We need to know because we need to know if you was gonna get something right.
Hey man.
We move it. This is one of my best friends, y'all. As of tonight, we get to
listen.
40 seconds until the debate. Watch the debate. We're streaming it live. You see, we're gonna get it popping. Hey, make sure you're right here, and we're gonna talk about abortion and how he's not getting none tonight.
Let's do it.
Y'all make sure y'all.
Let's do it.
Right here in Philadelphia. Back in a moment.
That abortion debate, okay. But you see how she was, talking about him. I guess they was joking around then. But it gets pretty ugly. This is when it turns. But you guys go back to my last video when I covered Tezlyn Figaro and she tagged Vivek Ramaswamy when she was on the Breakfast Club. I guess they stopped allowing her to be on the Breakfast Club because maybe she was too confrontational, or maybe because she had something else going on. I'm not for sure, but she's no longer there. A few months ago she was there, but now they have Angela Rye on there as a political commentary. Commentary.
The ABC News presidential debate will continue after this.
All right, guys. All right.
We are
All right, guys, Tezlyn Figaro here, chief political correspondent for Revolt. Black News. I'm so excited. As you can see, we have a room full of folks, black Democrats, black Republicans, black independents, activists, organizers, you name it. We got them in the building. Want to do a quick, just to reset things, quick name, affiliation, so that for our listeners that just tapped in.
Okay, well, hey, y'all. I'm Michaela Montgomery, and I do work for the Trump campaign, so I guess you could say I'm a Republican.
I guess so.
Devin Barrington Ward. I'm a Democratic Socialist and a candidate for Atlanta City Council.
And
I'm Young Jock from Young Jock in the Streets Warrior.
it's going down.
Hey.
Me be a trap. I had to say that. But guys, thank you so much for being here. As you can see, it got turned up. We even had some conversations, did we not, while we were watching. Make sure you tag 5 friends and then tag 5 again. Let's go straight to our brother was here talking about abortion. Come on in, brother, because I was trying to give you your opportunity to talk about abortion.
Let's get into it. I had to use the little boys' room.
No problem. Well, there was a conversation about abortion. And I really do. I want to be clear. I want Revolt to bring you back to have that longer conversation about the root of it, the problem. We unfortunately just don't have a lot of time to unpack it. But I do want you to state your position that we talked about before. And also, we noticed, if we want to be fair about it, neither candidate really kind of answered the question on late-term abortion, when it should not be. So I do appreciate your position on the root of it, but just kind of give me your position on why is it that Trump has flipped on his position as far as abortion is concerned?
I don't know that Trump has. I think Trump's been relatively consistent in the message. The reality in this situation is that if Democrats wanted to do something about abortion, they could. He was absolutely right. When Roe v. Wade was repealed, I'm going to use the word repealed, or overturned, Democrats at that time wanted it. Okay? The matter of abortion is only coming up every 4 years as a way of separating black Americans from another political party. If they wanted to do something about it over the course of the last 3-4 years, they could have, and they haven't. The entire debate tonight was Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, making an argument about what Trump had done, and she made absolutely no argument that demonstrates what she or her platform had done.
Would you agree? Disagree?
I would not agree with that. First, she did address the question, which was she would go back to where we were prior to Roe v. versus Wade being overturned, which means that those legal protections would be in place so that people wouldn't be having late-term abortions. I think the other thing that is missing from this conversation, we're in a state like Georgia where black women die when they go into childbirth. That's the conversation around reproductive health that we need to be having as black folks. Because when I go into the hospital and I see people who are having babies, it's black and brown folks. So this really isn't about us, right? You spoke about that earlier, about how this is about white women and their desire to not have children. But the black community, we having kids. Our population numbers are going up. Our schools are full. And so this idea that they want to make abortion about us.
You know, our population's numbers are not going up. This is maybe he's not really aware of the statistics. Actually, our population has been stagnant. It might be decreasing as far as the rate of births versus deaths. So I don't know where he's getting that from. But he is correct. Reproductive health, actually, they should, people are, saying, oh, you need abortion, and, they passing out these abortion pamphlets and having the abortion clinic at the DNC. That shouldn't even be around reproductive health, because if you think about reproductive health, you think about going into the hospital and they're not taking your claims as seriously because you're a black woman. And I could tell you my horror stories, and I delivered both of my children naturally. I didn't take any medication. And my first child, when I delivered him, and it was supposed to have been a prestigious hospital, the nurse came in and told me if I didn't move, or if I kept on moving, she was going to put a catheter in me. Because every time I moved, the monitor would shift, and she was tired of coming in and out. Well, I'm having a baby. So we kind of got into a spat. And then when my doctor came, I told my doctor what she said. And they looked at her and she never did come back to the room. But like, come on now. You're telling me to just lay here and I'm having a baby? So reproductive health, I think it would be advantageous. I don't know if any of Donald Trump's people is looking at him, looking at this or listening to what he's saying. I think that is totally true. But stop framing it around, hey, we need abortions, because we really don't. We really don't need abortions. We need to have more babies. And if we have more babies, people are saying, oh, we wouldn't need immigrants. This is what the Democrats will say. Oh, we're having less babies. We need more people to fill the jobs. So that's why the immigrants are here. No. Okay. So, he said some true things and some false things.
On both sides of the aisle, because for me, I'm a progressive, so I will agree with you to some extent. The Democrats could have did things to codify Roe v. versus Wade into law, and that was a missed opportunity. But in addition to that, we should be investing money into improving the maternal health outcomes for Black women in this state and across the country.
And I would like to piggyback off that, because that was the point that I was trying to make earlier, is that when they come into these communities and the topic of women's reproductive health comes up, the only thing that they suggest to us is abortion. And that I wish that when people like Kamala Harris or anybody else comes and says that we need to protect our reproductive rights, that the conversation is about more than just abortion, because Black women deserve more than to just be told that to not have
And
kids.
I was agreeing with you as well. I agree that they do come in. In fact, me and my producer just last week at the DNC convention, and I sat there saying you need to talk more than just about abortion. I just wanted to pull up to make the point, like our brother said here, we're having our babies. So who give a damn about what it's important what they're talking
You're not having, I'm sorry, Tezlyn, I'll pull it up while they talking
about. Yeah. But white women don't tell us what to do. So I just want to be clear that Black women have our babies, because that's another talking point. Y'all always talk about the single Black woman. So the single Black woman with the baby. So the welfare queen. Now, so which one are the welfare queens, or we're not the welfare queens? So I just want to make the point
I don't know,
that
nobody ever called me that.
Yeah,
But
well, they
to
do.
say
They
that
do.
White women don't
They're
control-
pushing the issue.
White women hold high positions at these record companies, correct? You would know something about that, right? In which case, those are the people who pay these artists like Lotto, like Glorilla, who are pushing abortion to our young Black women.
Right.
And you hear, and I want to turn to the war. And you
just, you guys, and this is just Google. Okay, in 2022, the general fertility rate for Black women in the United States between ages 15 and 44 is 6.1%. This means that the 6.1% of Black women of this age gave birth in the previous year. Here's some more information about Black Americans. Black women had the second highest fertility rate after Hispanic women, which is true. Birth rates by race. 2019, the birth rate for non-Hispanic Black women was 13.4. Fertility rate decline. Black fertility rates have declined in the past, dropping 2.5 births per woman in 1990 to 2.2 in 2001. Okay, so it says 2022, the median age of a single race Black woman was 34.9 years, which is 3 years younger than the national median age. And then this is an Institute of Family Study. It's called Baby Bus. Then come African Americans, who are missing 9.6% expected births, or 700,000 births, which is only slightly more severe than whites, who are missing 9.3, or about 3.2 million births. Black fertility rate declined from 2.15. This is alarming, you guys. Remember, it was 2.5 in 1990. Right now, it declined from 2.15 births per woman to 1.89, while white fell from 2.14 to 1.82. Asians experienced a less severe decline, but their fertility was somewhat lower to start. Okay. We're not having children. We're not having children. It's something in our foods where it's messing up our fertility, number one. And then number two, we have abortions. You can't deny statistics. Fertility is the rate of which you get pregnant. So more people are on the pill. More people, food is messing up, and then if you on the pill for a long time, or conception pill, it stops you from getting pregnant. But long-term effects, it does produce infertility. And your food that we eat, you got a lot of drugs and chemicals that is causing infertility, not only in women, but in men as well. So it's the food that you eat, the pills that you take, and then when you get pregnant, you have people committing abortion. Okay. These are alarming statistics. You can't change it up. He said the population has increased. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the population has increased, but at a rate that it should have. No, I think we have to say no. I'm going to say Black population in America. So over the last 12 years, we went from 38 million to 41 million. 38.7 to 41.6. While they're doing that, I'll get back to the show. Well, I want to this is what I wanted to share with you guys. This is kind of crazy right here.
got to know. We have to know. No, what I'm saying is, hold on.
It's a footprint.
Yeah.
Platform. So I'm happy to be here, man.
We appreciate it. Brother.
First off, I want to say, Jock, I want to give you the props for those laptops, because I know it's going to make the difference for those kids that you did that to. So people who are online, please just watch who you give, who you're trying to knock, and who you give respect to, because those are resources that you didn't have to do, but you did it because you've always been a real one. And so we, as a community, we appreciate you, and you should be, if anything, one of the first people to speak, because when people aren't looking, you're still working for us. And I do want to say this, and this is, I mean, Tez, I know you said one thing. You said, "Hey, you know, you sitting next to a big dog. You sitting next to a big dog." But out of that whole stage right there, if Trump wins, only one of y'all going to the White House, and that's Michaela right there.
And
so we got to be honest on what we got to know. We have to know. No, what I'm saying is, hold on. Out of the whole crowd, only one person. Hold on, let me just.
Gotta listen to each other. Let's hear.
Go ahead, brother.
And this is why. The black people,
finish.
and when it comes down to
finish your comment, baby.
When it comes down to a divide,
focus on
when it comes down to a divide in our community, this is why, because we're talking about everybody being so politically correct instead of in 4 years, what are we going to get? You mentioned chaos. Black people have been in chaos way before this debate ever started. We're in chaos in the homeless shelters. We're in chaos when it comes to the Department of Labor. We're in chaos the fact that Jock has to bring out laptops for the kids because there's not enough resources in our community. Right. And so when we have a sister with a different opinion than ours, it's about giving that respect. The fact that...
hold on, wait a minute. I got to... Wait, no, you're not... No, I'm going to stop you because you're going on and on. And this sister here is the one that invited this sister. So if I did not respect this sister, she wouldn't be sitting here, and you're going to put some respect on that. We're not going to sit up here... No, you can get frustrated and look down and all of that. Relax. Well, we got to make sure we're very clear. This platform was designed to bring this sister here. So if there was no respect for this sister, she wouldn't be here. So let's make sure we're using the right context, brother. I don't mind you making the point about one sister going. This is the only sister on this stage that want to go. So let's also make that clear, because I don't work in no White House. So I want to be clear about that. Everybody ain't trying to get a job in the White House. You can continue, but let's not act like she's not respected, because she is. We just have a difference of opinion.
When people are yelling about who's a big dog.
I am a big dog.
And what I'm saying is,
I'm a big dog.
Out of this whole stage, only one person was standing on the stage with a presidential candidate.
Only one person on this stage flipped Michigan. And only one person on this stage organized over 2,000 people every year. Only one person was the racial justice director for Bernie Sanders. Only one, because remember, you don't want to do resumes, because the sister already said she don't have no resume. So you might want to back that. Yeah, you did. You said you don't have like a resume. Ain't but one sister the senior public policy advisor for Ben Crump. Let's go on to the next. Ain't but one sister signed the front of the check for 1,000 people. Oh, baby, I know you don't want to start doing the only sister. I know you don't want to start doing the only sister receipts, because ain't but one sister served in the United States Air Force. Let's go on to the next person, because I don't like the passive aggressive diss.
Why are you passive aggressive dissing Michaela Montgomery? I just don't understand that. This is why young women don't respect old battle act. Like Tezelyn is like in her 50s. Like, why would you? I'm not 50. Michaela Montgomery, I think she's 28? She's 25. She's 25. She's young and intelligent. 25-year-old woman that's young and an intelligent woman. And you're talking about like she's not doing great things. It might not be the president because she's not for Kamala Harris, but she's a 25-year-old woman that's accomplished a lot for a 25-year-old. And she's been on the news before. She's done several. She said she's appeared on. Matter of fact, I'll just let her say it.
Because I'll run these receipts down. So let's go on, because ain't but one sister served this country on this here panel.
She has. I think she was on the Navy Guard Reserve. That's what Tezelyn talking about. So I mean, you wasn't active duty. Thank you for your service, but she's acting like she was over there and fighting in some war or something like that. Come on. Okay, you was on the reserve. Good for you. That's like Tim Walz. he was a reservist too. He dedicated 2 weeks out of his life every month, or 2 weekends. What is it? Every weekend to go to train.
So 4 years from now, black people have to decide what they're going to get at the end of the year. At the end of
to a whole veteran,
and we're dealing with the disrespect right here. 4 years. What are black people going to get at the?
Because you heard us say she don't have the resume that I got. So go on to the next sister. I'm not gonna handle your passive aggressive distance, baby. I'll run these receipts down on you. I'll run these receipts down on you. You talking to a whole veteran. So baby, ain't nobody impressed about working in no White House. I done turned it down. Ain't but one sister on here that on Fox News. Ain't but one that do 100 hits on Fox News. They don't call this sister. They call me. They call me. How many you do a year? How many do you do a year?
I've literally done 30 in the
Baby, I do 100 every year.
And I've said what I
do 100 per year. I do 100 per year.
And I just came on the scene.
I'm a big dog.
By the end of the year,
I love my sister. I love my sister, but you're not gonna divide us.
But you can't deny
The real thing is going to be, we need to really talk about black people in 4 years. What are we going to get in 4 years? Let's not talk about the criminal. Let's not talk about the charges. 4 years. What are we going to? What is Harris promising black people in 4 years?
That was a valid question. That was a valid question.
Let's get the next person up.
I understand what you're saying.
Don't ever do that with me though. Don't ever do that with me. You'll get your friend embarrassed. Play with your little friends.
I would never be embarrassed.
Yeah, I just want to speak to the people in the Christian community. As a Christian, I'm actually very disappointed in some of their point of views, including the abortion rights. Tell people, I've heard a couple of conversations, people saying that a man can't tell me what I need to do with my body. But as a Christian, I just feel like, how can you agree with something or someone who says, when the Lord had already said, do not murder? So how can you agree with somebody who said, yeah, let's go ahead and abort, even when they have came out the womb? You know what I'm saying? And then the lady back there who said, Kara, was that your name? Who said, how can we agree with someone who said, grab people by the vagina? Well, as a Christian, I'm agreeing with Trump, and I don't identify with necessarily either party, but this year I am Team Trump because of his policies. Most of the ones, when I go by line, they agree with Jesus' principles that's laid out in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be mad at someone who half of his principles is aligned with the Bible. I can't disagree with someone who is against the LGBTQIA, DEI plus agendas with men, including men, playing in women's sports. I can't agree with someone who's going to, do the abortion ban. Not do the abortion ban. I cannot agree with someone who's going to go ahead and take away our gun reform when in the Bible, Jesus is actually for us protecting ourselves. Somewhere in Luke, he definitely said, here's 2 swords. Okay. That is enough.
So let's let because she was talking to her in the pink, so she wanted to comment. Come on, sis, because we're running out of time.
Okay. The first thing God called us to do is love.
Correct.
And I think a lot of our speech, yes, 100% has been inflammatory, but he's called us to love and not judge.
Correct.
Second thing God gave us is free will. It's not up to us to decide the cost of somebody's sins and how we're going to act out this person's punishment. So when you sit there and say that Trump's policies align with Jesus Christ, do you hear his speech? Do you hear his speech, though?
He can work on his heart.
But God says in the Bible, judge a man by his fruits. His fruits. Hold on. Please don't talk over me. His fruits are inflammatory. His fruits are rotten. So please don't disrespect my Jesus Christ like that. Okay, my family was and let me also go back just a little bit more. My family was very instrumental. And let me also say, my family was very instrumental. Is this mic on? Can people hear me?
I feel like it wasn't either. But go ahead, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
And I'm also saying this as a person whose family was instrumental in founding the AME church. I don't know where your relationship with God went wrong, and I'll retract that because I can't judge where you're. But I think you need to go back to the Bible a little bit more and have some one-on-one time with Him to really think about whether the person that you're calling to represent this country actually represents Jesus Christ, or whether he's actually thwarting Jesus' word.
You said that I'm disrespecting Jesus Christ, but what is disrespectful when he is the one who creates life? I think anybody who's a Christian can say he is the end all be all. He is the Alpha and Omega. He is the only one responsible for life. So what is disrespectful to the Lord Jesus Christ is him giving you a baby and giving you life and you dropping it at his feet saying, I don't want it because you don't want to control who you having sex with. If you do not want to have a baby with somebody that you don't want a baby with, you don't need to be having sex with that person. Maybe you need to close your legs. Maybe that's what you need to do because you just don't want to be responsible with your body count. You want to use the I don't want a man telling me what to do with my body as an output and as an excuse. But that is not. You telling me I'm disrespectful and I need to revisit. Maybe you need to revisit.
Okay, so we can relax. We wanted to pass. We want nobody. We got when it was fun.
Relevant conversation.
How is it irrelevant if we're talking about policies?
Sis, hold on. Because the people can't hear. Let's.
This is, I'm going to pick it back up a little later on. I got to go pick up my son. He missed the bus, you guys. My son missed the bus, so I got to go run and pick him up. But what when I come back this evening, we're going to pick this up. Tezelyn, and I agree that the audience should be debating. They should have these type of conversations. But Tezelyn interjecting her own opinion and you're supposed to be the moderator, which they did during the debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, it's totally wrong. You're supposed to be the moderator. You're supposed to be neutral. You're supposed to facilitate the conversation, not jump in the conversation and try to attack people because they said something you didn't like. Tezlyn Figaro, she did, I guess, quote unquote, said she served the country because she was part of the Navy reserves. But you're trying to act like you was over there active. You was like an active military service person or service woman, and you wasn't. Stop being fake and stop downplaying Michaela Montgomery's accomplishment. Because Michaela, you could tell she's well poised. She knows how to deliver her talking points without getting all riled up and jumbled. Unlike Tezlyn Figaro, she act like she's a mad junkyard dog with trying to get to a bone. And that's why older Black women need to step back, especially when you have young ladies like this. You trying to knock them down, and they trying to get to where you're at. You supposed to be encouraging this young lady. Instead, you trying to down her, talking about passive aggressiveness. I think it was totally wrong what she did to Michaela, and it's disgusting. So anyway, you guys make sure you click the like button and subscribe button, and I really appreciate you.